video is for anyone going to Bogota, the capital city of Colombia. I'm going to list 11 activities, 10 of which are free, and I'm going to provide links to each activity in the description box below. The first activity is Casa de Narino. Apologies for the pronunciation. It is a presidential palace. You can tour it for free. The tours are in English or Spanish, and you need to book in advance. It's recommended that you book 30 days in advance, but it's completely free. The tour is really good, it's in depth, it lasts approximately 1 hour, and I highly recommend it because the palace is beautiful inside and outside, and you'll find some really interesting facts out. The second activity is changing of the presidential guards. This takes place in the courtyard of Casa de Narino at 4 p.m. on Wednesdays, Fridays and Saturdays. I highly recommend it. There's between 50 and 100 guards. Some are marching, some are playing instruments, and some are doing choreography with their guns. It's really, really good. I would recommend trying to go more than once so you can stand in different places. I stood beside the courtyard where they perform the main part of their routine, but then they also parade down the road, so you may want to go a second day and watch from the road as well. The third activity I recommend is Museo Nacional de Colombia. This museum is really good. It contains a diverse range of information. There's information on Colombia's colonization, independence, indigenous populations, and there's also popular artists. Further, there is art by international artists as well. Now, you can tour the museum in Spanish or English, but you need to check the schedule because there are fewer English tours. And this museum, the reason I've made it the first museum I mentioned is because there's a really good program of activities. I saw 3 events at this museum. I saw some musical events and some other cultural events. It was really, really good. The fourth activity I recommend is Monserrate. Monstera is one of 3 mountain viewpoints in Bogota. You can either walk up it or take a cable car. If you walk, it takes approximately 30 minutes to 1 hour. My personal best was 36 minutes. I climbed it a few times because the view is wonderful. You basically just see how large Bogota is. You can't see the end of Bogota. It just goes on and on and on. It's a really great viewpoint. I highly recommend it. There's a church at the top that you can go inside of, which is very pretty. But basically, just go for the views and go for some exercise as well. The fifth activity I recommend is a sightseeing tour by the local tourist information centre. They have 2 tours a day, Monday to Friday, and the tour lasts approximately 2 hours. It's really thorough, and it's a great way to find out more about the city. The tour is conducted in English or Spanish, so make sure you pick the right group. The 6th activity I recommend is a cluster of 3 museums. Museo Botero, Museo de Arte del Banco, de la República, and Casa de Moneda. I had to read that really complicated Spanish words there. So it's 3 museums that share the same plot of land. They have their own buildings, but they're so clustered together that you're not quite sure which building you're in at the time. But it's a wonderful collection of museums and it's completely free. My favourite was Museo de Arte del Banco de la República because it housed a variety of Colombian and international art. But just look around all 3 and enjoy yourself. The 7th activity I recommend is Museo Histórico Policía. So this is a museum about police service in Colombia. It's a beautiful building inside and out. And when you enter, you're offered a free tour in either Spanish or English, which is fantastic. And I think the tour lasted about 30 minutes. It's really good to have a look around. The 8th activity I recommend is Museo Militar de Colombia. There are no tours of this museum. However, there are lots of friendly staff around waiting to answer your questions. As you would expect, this museum is full of guns, uniforms, badges, models, statues, swords, and lots of photos. The information is mainly in Spanish, but there is some English information as well. The 9th activity I recommend is doing a graffiti tour. Now, Bogota is covered in lots of amazing graffiti. You can either look at it yourself and do your own tour, or you can do a free graffiti tour, which gives you information about graffiti art history, about different types of street art, about different artists and their history as well. It's a really good tour. Now, it's called a free tour, but you are expected to tip.